Hi, I'm Jacinta Cunahan and this is Coast Community News 5 at 5, January 29, 2021. Coming up this week, local beaches overloved on Australia Day. Rate protest planned. Suspended councillor Greg Best opens up on the council crisis. The Frank Baxter Youth Justice Centre gets a new training facility. Tim Tam the Joey hops to it. And a real Spider-Man emerges. More to come. But let's start with the beaches, which saw a record number of people over the Australia Day long weekend. More than 200,000 people flocked to the water over Saturday, Sunday and Tuesday, with volunteers and authorities copping the brunt of the crowds. Over the 3 days, there were 168 rescues, a prank drowning at Terrigal, parking havoc and jet ski chaos at Edelong. Director of Surf Life Saving Central Coast, Simon Cusack, said it was one of the busiest Australia Days he's seen in a while.
So 218,500 in attendance, 168 rescues, 325 first aids, and just over 11,500 preventative actions. Preventative action could just be stopping people going into a rip, just getting people back into the flags to save them getting into a rip or getting them out of a dangerous location. Definitely well and truly up on previous years. So Tuesday being our biggest day, where we had approximately around about 105,000 in attendance.
And a protest over the rate rise has been planned for next week's council meeting. Here is David to tell us more.
Thanks, JC. Yes, a large number of residents are expected to stand up against the proposed 10 to 15% rate increases outside Gosford Chambers February 3. Ratepayers were set to stage a protest on January 27 this week, but the meeting was cancelled at the request of the Administrator for family reasons. There will be an open public forum and a public are invited to speak in accordance with the usual guidelines and timeframes. Meanwhile, the council has extended the deadline for its survey on the proposed rate rise and added an option where residents can opt in for a no rate rise above the IPART peg. But residents say the survey still has limited options, with many choosing to lodge submissions directly to IPART. Residents can now complete the survey until February 1. And one of the suspended councillors, Greg Best, opened up this week. In a long and interesting interview, Mr Best said the public deserves an apology for the financial crisis. CCN conducted a full interview with Mr Best that you can see online and our socials. And here's a little of what he had to say.
There'll be an opportunity for the council to profusely apologise and recognise its contrition to its public. That will be the first opportunity we will have. In fact, I wrote that motion. It's the last motion on the list of motions, but it never made it because the motion never ran because the council was dismissed or stood aside, and the motion was titled Council's Apology and Contrition, and it listed a whole range of things seeking to explain to the public the reason we're in the mess we're in.
And a new clinical intervention centre at the Frank Baxter Youth Justice Centre at Carryong is set to drive down rates of reoffending and support detainees and their families, including a virtual visitations facility. Parliamentary Secretary for the Central Coast, Adam Crouch, joined Minister for Families, Communities and Disability Services, Gareth Ward, to open the new centre on Monday, January 25th. Here's what he had to say.
I'm really pleased to be here for the opening of this new centre today. This centre is an example of the investments that we're making in youth justice to try and turn the lives of young people around. No one wants to see young people in detention, but when they are, it's important that we do everything we can to make sure they never come back. And the importance of centres like this is investing as early as we possibly can when kids come into these centres to make sure they get the right supports to address issues in their lives that may not have been addressed prior to coming into contact with the criminal justice system. And that might be the need for psychologists or psychiatrists, it might be hearing therapists or occupational therapists, in order to make sure that the time spent here is valuable in that we ensure that that road of criminogenic behaviour is turned around for good.
state-of-the-art facility will provide great service as part of this unit here. And I've got to say, talking to the staff here, they're also very happy with this investment because we know, they said, that early intervention makes a huge difference to young people. So, Minister, thank you for the investment. It's always welcome on the Central Coast. And as I said, as the Parliamentary Secretary, I welcome the opening of this new centre here today.
Thanks, David. Concrete pouring began on 41 new social housing apartments at Bean Street in Gosford this week. And Parliamentary Secretary for the Central Coast, Adam Crouch, was there to tell us more.
We've got development after development going on from one end of the coast to the other to provide that social housing framework and network that is so vital to people here on the Central Coast. And in addition to providing that safe housing, it's also providing a fantastic employment boom for tradies here on the Central Coast. We've got the majority of people working on this site are Central Coast locals, which means they don't have to travel down the M1 every day to get work in Sydney. They're staying right here on the Central Coast, and it's delivering a great benefit. Whether it be the tradies or whether it be the local coffee cart, everyone benefits from this sort of investment.
Now let's see what's happening in sport around the Central Coast with Hawk.
Thanks, JC. Tuggerah Regional Sporting Complex hosted the Central Coast Cricket 2020 Grand Finals in the Under-21 Glen Rowland Shield and the Everything Sports First Grade Championship on Tuesday, January 26. In both instances, the Shield went to the Northern Central Coast sides, to the entrance in the Under-21s, and then to Warnervale in the First Grade. In the Glen Rowland Shield, Southern Spirit found few opportunities to outmanoeuvre a steady performance by the entrance with the bat. An early 36-run partnership between Callum Dunkley and Brock Hardy lasted for over 5 overs before Dunkley was caught by Lachlan Bull off of Lachlan Cork's bowl, just as this marquee decided to go for a little tumble on the field. Southern Spirit showed early promise with a bat at the hands of Lachlan Bayliss and Cork with a 35-run partnership, but it ended with Bayliss being caught in spectacular fashion by Dylan Bennett off Regan Stone's bowl. With a 6 needed to draw the scores on the very last ball, Toby Pimble was caught by Hardy off Bennett's ball, winning the game for the mighty Gullies. Warnervale first set up an unbeaten score of 4 wickets for 147 runs, with the big hitters of the match being Simon King with an early 6 and 28 total runs, and Jay Lenton medal winner Chris Shepherd with 58 runs not out. Terrigal showed early promise through opening batsman Joshua Toohey with 37 runs of 41 balls. However, the Bellbirds were altogether unable to respond effectively, losing their final wicket at 116 in the 19th over. And finally, the Central Coast Mariners prepare for 2 Week 6 A-League matches, first against Wellington Phoenix this Sunday, then Melbourne City on Wednesday, February 3rd, both to be played at Central Coast Stadium. The boys in yellow have so far maintained their fragile sitting on the top of the table after last weekend's 2-0 win against Sydney FC. But the travelling Melbourne side will fancy their chances at snatching the top spot, as they are only 3 points shy of the lead, with a game in hand on the top 4 teams. News of these games will soon reach our website after the full 90 minutes are played. Now here's Hayley with the weather and more news.
Thanks, Hawk. Saturday will be a max of 29 and partly cloudy with a medium 40% chance of showers and a chance of a thunderstorm in the afternoon and evening. Winds northeasterly 25 to 35 kilometres, decreasing to 15 to 25 before dawn, then turning northerly 15 to 20 in the late evening. Sunday will be another partly cloudy day with a max of 27 and a medium 50% chance of showers. Winds westerly 15 to 20 kilometres, shifting south to southeasterly during the morning. And now from the weather to the wall. The Great Wall at Ettalong has attracted a huge response from the community, mostly falling on the side of the cafe owners. We reached out to council, but they haven't gotten back to us yet. So we spoke to an independent certifier to see what she had to say.
Look, generally, there is such a thing called exempt and complying development. And if something falls into the category of being exempt development, they don't have to notify neighbours. But in this instance, I would consider it to be highly unlikely that this would fall into the category of exempt development, and it would need development consent. In my practice, I've had people ring me and ask me to validate that what they're doing is in fact exempt development, that they don't need consent to do what they're doing. So they can get certifiers to do that, or they can contact council, and council may offer that service as well.
And today marks the start of the new school year for many families across the coast. And after such a challenging year in 2020, Regional P&C President Sharon Brownlee shares her encouragement with all students on the Central Coast.
Despite the rainy weather, enjoy being back at school, and particularly a warm welcome to the kindergarten children, the year 7s, and all those children who are changing schools and in their new school for the first time. Have a wonderful school year. Enjoy making new friends and learning. And to those children who are on public transport who are over 12, please remember to wear your masks. I know it's difficult and complex for you, but everyone's safety, including your own and your families, is really important.
A Woy Woy resident has made national news after discovering a new species of spider in Western Australia last month. Adam Fletcher identified the Maritus fletcheri spider during a 3-week exhibition through the southern parts of the wildflower state. And on December 17, the new species was named after Fletcher. Courtship behaviour study reveals that the male raises one leg to attract the female's attention. Once the female is watching, the male raises another leg, raising and expanding the abdominal fan side to side. Back to you, JC.
Thanks, Hayley. All of these stories are available on our website, which as of last month had 200,000 users. And don't forget to pick up a copy of this week's Coast Community News, Coast Community Chronicle and Pelican Post. Subscribe to all of our social pipes to stay updated during the week. And we are now on Spotify. As a news podcast, simply search Central Coast News on Spotify to subscribe. We leave you today with some adorable footage of the Australian Reptile Park's cutest kangaroo, Joey, Tim Tam, who took her first hops right in time for Australia Day. We hope you find this footage as cute as we did. We'll see you next week.